It is Saturday, April the 13th, 2019. And if you'd like to know how I deal with my own confirmational bias when I'm trading Bitcoin, you'll be interested in the rest of this episode of the 24 Hours of Bitcoin. You can pause the video to read the disclaimer or click on a link in the description down below. Let's start off with part of my confirmational bias is that I am bullish. I believe that we have hit a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation and broken out of it, and that we're just consolidating now for the next stage of the next move up. And even a little pullback from here in my confirmational bias, it won't break my confirmational bias. I'll be looking for things that are telling me that the pullback is finished and the surge is coming on. And so when I zoom into these charts, I'm looking for things that are confirming the bullish bias. Even though I'm seeing bearish divergences here, I continue to look for the bullish turnaround of that will match the longer term view of the coin. So when we zoom into Bitcoin here and we're looking at the on balance volume for the 1 hour bars, we can see that prices have gone stronger, and yet the on balance volume has gotten weak at the end here especially. And then when we look at the MACD indicator, we can see that this has weakened off as well compared to prices. And yet at the end, we can see this crossover and back to a positive stance at a specific time when the charts are consolidating. And so it always goes back to the longer term view, the daily view of these charts, to get some idea of what's actually going on, because zooming into the close-up range often gets you looking at the trees instead of the entire forest. Now, part of my confirmational bias is built on the 1 day view. Let me clear this off. Just go back to the chart. So part of my confirmational bias is based on the 1 day view of the chart and how this was similar to the crash in 2015 when prices came back down here in early 2015, and I was comparing our distance between the 200 period moving average from the past to the future, and to the present rather. As I was watching this unfold and considering the change in the entire industry and the financial world around Bitcoin, the incredible development all around the world in every different area of cryptocurrencies, this chart pattern started to look different to me than the chart pattern back in 2015. Let me draw this back here so we can take a look at it. So my initial view was that we were in this area and repeating this pattern. But as time went along, it didn't fit in. It wasn't feeling correct. All of the momentum and the movement of the price patterns wasn't feeling right. And I was looking through the charts for something that's feeling more similar to what we have today. And so when we look at the charts here today, we can see where the charts are. If we zoom into this view here of the charts, this looks really similar to what we just experienced here today, but this is back in 2015, looking at the 12-hour bar view. This is what we're seeing here today. And so I want to look and confirm my bias. I want to see that are things happening here today that we saw exactly happening back in 2016 when we had this kind of build up, this ascending wedge pattern build up before prices took off. And one of the best ways to do that is to dig in underneath and take a look and see what these indicators are showing us. So we can see the RSI is pulling back a little bit but flattening out for today. And when we go back to the past, we see the RSI coming back and flattening out. We can see that we went to a strong surge of on-balance volume after a long, steady trickle of it. We also see that we experienced a divergence in the RSI just before the big takeoff. So many similarities to what we are seeing here today. The trickle of RSI on-balance volume, the RSI pullback before the spring up. We are in such a similar position that it makes me believe that we are about to see some fantastically higher prices. Another question that is off topic from checking out the 4 here is to zoom into stellar lumens specifically. So what I'm going to do is go over to Poloniac. So I'm going to bring up STR. And what I want to do is zoom in to the 1 month view. And we're doing this study here where this is the topic of the day. Right here, stellar prices were doing good. Bitcoin prices are surged up and stellar prices went down. They went opposite to Bitcoin. As Bitcoin was going up, stellar was going down. And then as Bitcoin came down, stellar went down more. So as Bitcoin went up, stellar went down. As Bitcoin went down, stellar went down. And many of the cryptos are doing this, and a lot of people are wondering, is this the split? Is this the time when alts are going down now, Bitcoin's going up, it's going to continue taking over dominance again and crush all of the alts down? It may be, but for my own part, when I get back to this trading pattern, it is looking like a buy signal to me at this time. So for me, even though Bitcoin prices have risen as they have here in the background, we can see them going up, and stellar prices have gone down, I really want to keep this longer term perspective. And I'm still believing that the altcoins are a little bit behind Bitcoin and that they are making this bottom formation and will turn around. And if I'm wrong, we'll find out right away, because Bitcoin will surge past these levels and altcoins will not pick up off these levels. They'll be stuck down below these levels at the best, and maybe some of them will start breaking down below the #1 points from earlier in the entire bottom formations that we've been studying now for the last few months. And this will be our study here in the other channel, where we'll go through 50 different cryptos and we'll see how many of them are in this support position here, like a bottom formation still, and that's still healthy, it's still okay, or how many of them have come down below the #1 point. And if we have more than 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 of the 50 going down below that #1 point, then the alts are in a much more serious condition than I believe them to be. And that will change my confirmational bias if we're seeing those kind of things set up. So I appreciate you guys tuning in to this channel. I hope this is helpful to you. I hope it helps your trading in some way along your path towards financial freedom. That's it for today. Thanks again for tuning in, and good luck in all of your Bitcoin trading.